All praise to the Most High, AHAYAH, and to his son, Yeshua, the Messiah. Hallelujah. This is Brother Holly here with the second Spirit of Truth broadcast here on the AHAYAH'S channel, as well as the House of AHAYAH channel, on this set-apart Sabbath day. First and foremost, as always, I'd like to give all praise, glory, and honor to the great I am, he who is, was, and is to come, the Almighty One. Hallelujah. And to his son, Yeshua, Messiah, that he came that we might have life, and that life is in him. Hallelujah. Now, and I'd also like to speak a blessing to all of the house of Yasharallah, wherever you may be around the world. May you be blessed. May you be inspired. May the spirit of Ahaya move upon you right now. Come, Jacob, let us walk in the light with our Allahayim. Hallelujah. Now, in the second broadcast, we're going to keep it kind of short. As you know, I've announced on these broadcasts that I've been precepting the book of Jubilees, and I've been doing so from the there I go again the AHAYAH King James Version Bible Apocrypha Enoch. Well, there I go again. Enoch, Jasher, and Jubilees KJV. This is a great little resource. I strongly recommend it that you picked up a copy of this. This is almost a completely clean read. What I mean by a clean read, a version of the Apocrypha that you're not being polluted with terms like God, Lord, and nor are you being polluted with the name used for the tetragrammaton like you would find in the Cephas version of the Apocrypha, or in his words version of the Apocrypha books. You'd find it there as well, or the tetragrammaton just in its YHWH. You won't find any of that in here. You'll find the name of Ahaya proudly displayed in almost all the verses where the Most High's name is mentioned in the Apocryphal books, as well as the books of Enoch, Jasher, and Jubilees. And you will find Yeshua's name mentioned in 2nd Ezra, I believe chapter 5. If I'm not correct, please put in the it's chapter 7 if I remember correctly, and please put in the comment section if I'm wrong. I really depend on y'all to, for lack of a better term, keep me honest. If I say something a little wrong, it's not because I'm trying to deceive you or perish the thought. Is because in the process of doing all this reading, I may miss a reference here and there. So please bear with me, and thank you for your patience and understanding. All praises. Keep me straight, y'all. We're going to be coming from the Jubilees chapter 35 and Malachi chapter 1. And what we're going to be talking about in this second broadcast is the salvation or lack thereof of Esau and his people. It says clearly in the book of Jubilees that Esau and his descendants will not be saved. That is almost directly correlated with what is said of Esau and his descendants in Malachi chapter 1. And when we read both renditions of the scriptures, you will see the similarity in thought being portrayed. And this is a very important point to point out from the scriptures, and I'm so glad the Most High put it on my spirit to precept the book of Jubilees. I would, because I'm reading it verse for verse, and Ahaya is bringing to my remembrance verses in the Torah and the prophets and in the New Testament that correspond or correlate to what I'm reading in Jubilees. And when I read this particular bit of Jubilees 35, I was floored because it was exactly the thought being portrayed by Malachi. And so many people amongst the Constantine Christians and the universal salvation, as you know, the people, the JUSUS people, the justify everyone speaking universal salvation. Jesus is not a name, it's an acronym, children. Most High gave me that one. Jesus is not a name, it's an acronym. They are preaching another gospel about another Messiah who justifies everyone by speaking universal salvation. And that's not what Yeshua came to do. He came to seek and to save those who are lost. And he told you who the lost were. He said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Yasharal. Alleluia. Now, let's go to our Apocrypha. Book of Jubilees, chapter 35. And we're going to start reading about verse 10. And this is Rebekah, Jacob and Esau's mother, pleading with her son Esau not to harm his brother after her death. It says, one petition. This is Jubilees chapter 35. I believe it's verse 10. And as I explained to you before, in here, goodness, I'm struggling. Woo! In here, the book of Jubilees only has chapters and no verses. Just chapter numbers. So you kind of have to, kind of figure out what verse it is. So if you don't have one of these, you'll just have to look in chapter 35 of Jubilees and say, oh, there it is. I believe it's verse 10. Jubilees 35, it says, one petition I make unto thee, make Esau swear. This is Rebekah talked to her husband Isaac. One petition I make unto thee, make Esau swear that he will not injure Jacob, nor pursue him with enmity. For you know Esau's thoughts, that they are perverse from his youth. We highlight that. And there is no goodness in him, for he desires after thy death to kill him. Speaking of killing Jacob. And you know all that he has done since the day Jacob his brother went to Haran, until this day, how he has forsaken us. This is his mother talking about Esau. How he has forsaken us with his whole heart, and has done evil to us. Thy flocks he has taken to himself, and carried off all your possessions from before thy face. And when we implored and besought him for what was our own, he did as a man who was taking pity on us. Will you highlight that? Esau was such an evil child, an evil son, that he would steal from his own father Isaac and from his own mother. He would steal their flocks and their possessions, take them unto himself. And when they inquire about it, they say, what are you doing? Give us our stuff back. He talked to them. He talked to them like he's a person having pity on them. Like, well, I'll do it, sure. Why not? You can't do anything about it. Wow. I'll read it again, because a lot of you keep wanting to save Esau. But the person you're trying to save is wicked. I'm sorry. And the Most High is already pronounced judgment upon him. The Most High even hate him. I don't see why you keep trying to save him. I ain't trying to save Esau. I agree with the scriptures. Let's read them. This is Rebekah speaking to her husband Isaac about Esau and Jacob. Jubilees chapter 35. It says, one petition I make unto thee. Make Esau swear that he will not injure Jacob, nor pursue him with enmity. For thou knowest Esau's thoughts, that they are perverse from his youth. And there is no goodness in him, for he desires after thy death to kill him. And thou knowest all that he has done since the day Jacob his brother went to Haran, until this day, how he has forsaken us with his whole heart, and has done evil to us. Thy flocks he has taken to himself, and carried off all thy possessions from before thy face. And when we implored and besought him for what was our own, he did as a man who was taking pity on us. And he is bitter against thee, because thou did bless Jacob, thy perfect and upright son. Will you highlight that? Here, Rebekah is referring to Jacob as being a perfect and upright man. And he was bitter against, this is Jubilees 35, and he was bitter against thee, because thou did bless Jacob, thy perfect and upright son, For there is no evil, but only goodness in him. You highlight. And since he came from Haram until this day, he has not robbed us for aught, for he brings us everything in its season always. And he rejoices with all his heart when we take at his hands, and he blesses us, and has not parted from us since he came from Haran until this day. And he remains with us continually at home, honoring us. Is there not a commandment, children, to honor your mother and father? Jacob honored his mother and father. Esau did not. Esau stole from his mother and father, according to the scriptures. You see why I don't want you to read the book of Jubilees? It paints a whole different picture of Esau. They make Esau sound like the victim, like Jacob swindled him out of his birthright. No, he gave his birthright up willingly. He despised his birthright. But I've heard those tithe-taking, pork chop eating, Sunday go to meeting jokers stand there in pulpit calling Jacob a trickster, that he swindled his brother out of his birthright. They made Jacob sound like a villain. Wow. Jacob wasn't a villain, his brother was. Jacob was a perfect and upright man. Jacob honored his mother and father, while Esau despised them. Esau stole from them. And then pretended like, oh yeah, I'll have some pity on you and give you stuff back. That's just evil. Let's continue reading. Jubilees chapter 35, let's continue reading. And Isaac said unto her, speaking to his wife, I too know and see the deeds of Jacob, who is with us, how that with all his heart he honors us. But I loved Esau formerly more than Jacob, because he was the firstborn. But now I love Jacob more than Esau. Will you highlight? Even Isaac, in his blindness, his dim-eyedness, could see that his son Esau was evil and his son Jacob righteous. He too said that Jacob honored his mother and father. He too said Jacob honors us and Esau despises. And he too said, I used to love Esau more than Jacob because he's my firstborn. But now I love Jacob. But now I love Jacob more than Esau, for he has done manifold evil deeds. Speaking of Esau. And there is no righteousness in him. When you highlight, Esau ain't got no righteousness in it. No redeemable characteristics. Come on. For all his ways are unrighteousness and violence, and there is no righteousness around him. Wow. Who's that sound like? What people group does Esau sound like? Let that marinate for a while. See, when the alphabet campus calls a certain group of people Esau, it has very little to do with their appearance. It has a lot to do with their behavior pattern, their spirit, how they are. Did you not remember what was told to Rebekah, their mother, by AHAYAH himself, that there were two nations in your womb and two manner of people which shall be separated from your mother's from their mother's womb? See, we're not supposed to be getting together with Esau's kids. We're the children of Jacob. We're not to be hanging with the children of Esau. Why? Because there's no righteousness in them. They just like their daddy. We're going to see in a minute that what the same thing that was said of their father is said of them. We'll read it in a moment. Back to Jubilees 35. I'll read this verse again. Jubilees 35, I believe it's verse 12. And Isaac said, verse 13, I'm sorry, Jubilees 35:13. And Isaac said unto her, I too know and see the deeds of Jacob, who is with us, how that with all his heart he honors us. But I loved Esau formerly more than Jacob, because he was the firstborn. But now I love Jacob more than Esau, for he has done manifold evil deeds, and there is no righteousness in him. For all his ways are unrighteousness and violence, and there is no righteousness around him. Pardon me. And now my heart is troubled because of all his deeds. Speaking of Esau. And neither he nor his seed is to be saved. Will you highlight? Wow. Here it is in black and white. Neither he, Esau, or his seed, the children of Esau or Edom, are to be saved. I'll read it again. Jubilees 35, verse 14. And now my heart is troubled because of all his deeds, and neither he nor his seed is to be saved, for they are those who will be destroyed from the earth, and who will be rooted out from under heaven. For he has forsaken the power of Abraham, and gone after his wives, and after their uncleanliness, and after their error, he and his children. So let's keep it clear and straight. When you see this condemnation in the scriptures, we're going to read it in Malachi about the children of the descendants of Esau. When you see this condemnation that was upon Esau being put upon his children, you know exactly where it came from. Here's your second witness. I highlighted it. I know you can't read that, but I highlighted it in the book of Jubilees. Here's your second witness. Let out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established. I'll read that one more time, because I know some of you still struggling, trying to save Esau, trying to save Edomites. Leave him alone. And now my heart is troubled. Jubilees 35, 14. And now my heart is troubled because of all his deeds, and neither he nor his seed is to be saved. For they are those who will be destroyed from the earth, and who will be rooted out from under heaven. For he has forsaken the power of Abraham, and gone after his wives, and after their uncleanliness, and after their error, he and his children. And thou did, next verse, and thou did bid me make him swear that he will not slay Jacob his brother. Even if he swear, he will not abide by his oath, and he will not do good, but evil only. Who that sound like? Who break every promise they ever made to anybody else? What group of people like that on the earth? They'll promise you the world, but the moment you turn your back on them, they stab you. Who that sound like? I ain't calling no names. The Alphabet Camp brothers, who be in the streets calling them out. You know who they say Esau is. Who act like this? Whose behavior is like this? I'll read it one more time. Jubilees chapter 35. It says, and thou doth bid me. This is this is Isaac speaking to Rebekah, his wife. And thou dost bid me make him swear that he will not slay Jacob his brother. Even if he swear, he will not abide by his oath, and he will not do good but evil only. Wow. This is why he can't be saved. Neither him or his kids, because he worships after the manner of his heathenistic wives. He is forsaken AHAYAH'S. He is forsaken AHAYAH Most High. He forsook the Most High, that he may follow after his old evil wives. He and his kids. following after their error, it says. Oh, you never find any of Esau's kids wearing white on the Sabbath, calling out to AHAYAH. If you do, it's one in a couple of 100,000, maybe. And I watch them real close. Even if they say they believe, I watch them real close. Just saying. I ain't pointing no fingers. Just saying. If they Esau's kids, you can't trust them. They ain't going to be saved anyway. Let's read it from Malachi. Let's get a second witness. Malachi, chapter 1. We'll be reading from the Learn Paleo Hebrew Torah, Lashon Kodash, Holy Tongue version of the AHAYAH'S scriptures. All praises. Malachi chapter 1, verse 1. The burden of the word of AHAYAH to Yasharallah by Malachi. I have loved you, saith AHAYAH. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith AHAYAH? Yet I loved Jacob. Now this is AHAYAH saying he loved Jacob. Did not we just hear Isaac saying he loved Jacob too? I'll continue. And I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom says, we are impoverished. See, Esau's an individual. Esau's not a we. His offspring are the we. They're Edom. Esau is the progenitor of Edom. Edom said, we are impoverished. I always read it this way. I'll start over. Verse 1. Malachi 1:1. The burden of the word of AHAYAH to Yasharallah by Malachi. I have loved you, saith AHAYAH, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Saith AHAYAH, yet I loved Jacob. Verse 3. And I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom says, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith AHAYAH of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. You highlight that. And they shall call them. Who them? Edom. They should call them, being Edom, the border of wickedness. What did they say? What did Isaac, his father, say about his own son, Esau? Even if he swear, he ain't gonna do what's right, but evil only. Here are his kids. The Most High saying this about his kids. Their dwelling should be called a border of wickedness. And the people, not the person. I told you, I'm talking about Esau's seed, his descendants. Here it is. And the people against whom AHAYAH hath indignation toward forever. Not for a weekend, for good. Ain't no salvation for them. We just read it from Jubilees. Here it is again. Not for full. Most High mad at them for good. They ain't nothing but wicked people. They try to rebuild their heritage, Most High gonna tear it down. It says in Obadiah, they set their nest among the stars. He gonna cast them down. Oh, praises. So let's review. Isaac and Rebekah having a conversation about their boys. They talked about how Esau steals from them, how Esau fails to honor them. And when they questioned him about what he stole from them, he talked to them like he having pity on them. And they touted how their perfect and upright son, Jacob, acts. He always loved him. He always honored him. He always blessed him. And he stayed with him. Esau don't want nothing to do with him except steal from him. Wow. Even Isaac, Esau's biggest fan, had to come to the light and say, I loved Esau because he was my firstborn, but now I love Jacob more because Esau wicked. And neither he nor his seed shall be saved, but they shall be the people who shall be destroyed from under heaven. Wow. And here in the book of Malachi, we get the second witness that the Most High, the great I am, has indignation toward that group forever. He hates Esau, he said so. And it's repeated in the New Testament for all y'all who say, oh, that's just in Jubilees in the Old Testament. Well, what about the New Testament? Don't he love everybody? Let's find out. This is extra. This is the third witness on the Most High hating Esau. Romans, let's go. Romans chapter 9, verse 7. Woo! All praise to the Most High. It says, neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children. See, just because you're descended from Abraham don't make you a child of the Most High, of AHAYAH. We're going to see that in a sec. I'll read it one more time. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children. But in Isaac shall thy seed be called. We highlight that. By Ishmael. Ishmael and all the nations that descend from, all 12 nations that descend from Ishmael are not the children of AHAYAH. You got to come from Isaac to be a child of AHAYAH. But wait, there's more. Because there's two sons that came from Isaac, was it not? Esau and Jacob. Let's see which one of them is the child of AHAYAH and which one isn't. Let's read. I'll read it again. Romans 9:7. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall your seed be called. That is, they which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of AHAYAH, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed. Okay,